Right, so in this video, I'm going to explain the principles behind the EMA addition to the Banker EA, what it means, why we did it, how it can help, and show you on screen. So currently right now, we've got 550, 483, it's going up and down, obviously, running profit on this account. It's a demo, I only started it yesterday afternoon actually, and the account's up just over 1%. Will be a little bit more when this banks too. So the idea, and this is because we are using a martingale approach on this, but we've got specific trade entry for two reasons. One, we're running a delay, so we're basically waiting for a trending move, we're waiting for a pullback, and then we're waiting for continuation with the bigger lot size because of how it stacks into the overall trend. Those trades have now just closed. So yeah, just under 2% in less than 24 hours. And ultimately, if we look on the 1 minute chart, we will see how these entries stack. So ultimately, we're only looking for sells. And I'll explain why we're only looking for sells. So if we go through the trade history on here, I think it started here, probably a bit earlier. Let me just untick that thing there. Yesterday afternoon, let me just keep scrolling through and you'll see the sort of entries that we've had. Keep going, keep going, keep going. I think that's it. Yeah, so yesterday afternoon, 28th of April. It's now the 29th of April. So the first trade, when I find it in a moment, is up here. What a lovely entry that is. So we've got a sell entry and it closes. And if I open this up a little bit, close that down, we should be able to go to the history and look at the dates. So we've got on here that first trade didn't make a lot because it actually closed on its first entry, closed, and then we had two positions next, so a 0.2 and a 0.4. They both entered. Again, take note of this chart. You know, we're looking for those areas of overbought, oversold conditions, but in line with the overall trend on a high time frame. So we're looking for these extremes. I've usually always got an elastic band on me for that reason. And then here we see a push to the upside, but again, we're only looking for sells because of the overall higher time frame stance on the market on gold. Now I know gold's rallied a bit today. It's Friday the 29th, but we've still banked profit on the sells because I'll show you why. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 these positions here. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 1.6. And by the way, I found this approach by thinking a little bit in line with the theory behind the strategy. So I've got a very high time frame for trend direction. I'm using a smaller trade delay because I don't need a too high trade delay because otherwise I might then be looking for trading against that trend. Difficult to explain, but I'll show you on the EMA shortly. I've got good solid backtest data for in sample and out of sample data too, which at the end of the video I'll pause and show you. So yeah, there's those 4 trades. Then we had another nice entry here, this entry and this close, 2 entries here and this close. Again, look, they're always usually at the peaks of these extremes. Yeah, another one here, another one here. However, most of the profit, the bigger profit will be made when a stack of trades builds in a little bit of drawdown and then we see the higher lot sizes play out. So we've got one here, here 1, 2, 3, here 1, 2, 3, 4. So that probably would have been one of these here. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another couple of trades, another couple of trades, and then here. So this stack that's just closed, just whilst I'd started this video, are these bottom ones, I think. This bottom sequence of trades. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, pullback, close. Now markets just don't fly one way. They go up and down every minute, right? So the overall idea behind this is we're running a 12-hour EMA, and when price is above the 12-hour EMA, we are only looking for buys. When price is below the 12-hour EMA, we are only looking for sells. So this is the EMA we're running, and because it's such a high time frame, this EMA is actually quite flat, but when price is above or below, that gives us our overall bias on the direction of the trades that we're looking to take. So on here, yes, these are only the last 3 12-hour candles, but we've seen a push to the downside. Yes, we've seen that rally back up over the next 48 hours, but in terms of how the EA's handled it and the entries waiting for them extremes and waiting for the pullback, in line with the overall trend, you can see we are just under 2% up. So I'm going to take you to the back test and the in sample and out of sample data that supported this approach for me to find it ultimately. And then obviously moving forward, I can keep you informed of how this is running and how it looks too. So this is just a short-term test. It was something I was trying. Instead of going back 12 weeks, I was just looking for something for 4 weeks so I could forward test that and just see how that played out too. Something we discussed on the last live members Q&A. So I've broke this test down into a 30 30% forward test, out of sample test. And you can see here that despite there been some biggish moves in April, really, be it I remember the Tuesday after the bank holiday or even the Monday, that was quite a big trending move up, wasn't it? And obviously this approach is just looking for being in line with the overall trend. Now, looking back at the data, we would have only have been in buys at that point, as per when we saw the drop off on those last 3 12-hour candles. So I'll have to go back in visual mode to have a look. But anyway, that to one side, you can see here that even for just April, this account got up to 227 grand. This drop here is the balance reset to then redo the test based on out of sample data, and that made another 10k. So this tells me that this has continued after this period. So there's a robust approach there for how the market's currently moving. Obviously, we've seen that continue over this last 48 hours, and let's see how it continues to play out in the future. So just that I'd show you the EMA, the logic behind it is to put us the right side of the overall trend, looking for them pullbacks in line with that overall direction. How I found the approach in terms of the data, we're using a 12-hour EMA. If you remember and you want to find this, you can see the lot sizes that have been used. By all means, you can run an optimization and do what I've done to get to this detail too. And yeah, I'll keep you informed of how the account progresses over the next few weeks.